anticipated experiences in the summer is a trip to the water park. For those familiar with the noise, crowds, activities, and thrills they will be experiencing, they are filled with excitement. However, there are others who may be wondering what they have gotten themselves into. The steep slides, crashing waves, and deep pools may be thrilling to some and terrifying to others. Our feelings about something new will be influenced by the experiences we already have conquered. For a learner acquiring a second language, the process may be similar to that of going through a water park. The obstacles a learner will encounter and ultimately overcome while learning a second language are much like the challenges a swimmer will face when navigating a new water park.
In the setting of a water park, the water is our input at the most simple obstacle. The activities are the +1 as stated by Krasner in his hypotheses, allowing students to be scaffolded into their learning. As the swimmer tackles each new and more difficult obstacle, the input is being increased by +1. Essential conditions are being provided by supporting the learner at each stage, giving positive feedback, and building motivation. A kiddie pool is a safe place for a swimmer to get his feet wet. Swimmers come to the water park at all different levels of competency with all different experiences with the water. Some have wonderful experiences and are ready to charge ahead, skipping the kiddie pool entirely, while others may come with more baggage, fears, and doubts, causing them to need a little more time to begin to feel comfortable in their new environment.
Seeing the obstacles to be overcome, the learner might be feeling anxious or fearful. Some learners may be dealing with their affective filter being up, resulting in low motivation, low self-esteem, and anxiety. Other learners might be on the opposite end. Their affective filter is low, allowing them to feel excited, motivated, and filled with confidence to take on the next challenge. In order to lower the affective filter, interest needs to be sparked in the learner, motivating them to step out of their comfort zone and take on a new obstacle. As rules differ between water parks, language rules also differ. Lifeguards are available to help with that transfer, and teachers are assisting with making sure the language transfer is beneficial and correct.
The wave pool provides just enough push to throw the swimmer off balance. They have had a taste and are ready to conquer the next obstacle. It looks calm from a distance, but soon enough a wave comes. Before the swimmer knows it, they are in over their head, feeling defeated and nervous. This is an opportunity for our new learners to negotiate meaning in the new environment. Without this negotiation, learners attempting to acquire new language end up in over their heads with no idea how to make sense of things. Sink or swim is a popular expression that literally applies in a water park and figuratively applies to our learners. Immersing themselves in a new language has its benefits, but it can be overwhelming with the input being more than they can handle, more than +1, leaving learners exhausted, frustrated, and ready for a break.
The lazy river is the escape for our little swimmer. Here he can be pushed along by the flow of the water, simply resting and taking in what is happening around him. This is a setting where the learner can listen to the language without being forced to interact with it. Many language learners enter a silent period to listen and absorb their new language, allowing for implicit learning opportunities. Comprehensible input can be given in an explicit way, drawing attention to the activity around them, thus helping to build the learner's self-efficacy. This is a prime opportunity for the learner to gain information through interaction with others who are traveling with them, building positive group dynamics. Here is where our learners gain the most important and necessary pieces of the language for communication. They participate in a peripheral capacity, preferring to listen and watch with limited engagement. Once motivation is built up and the learner has had time to absorb new information, they will move on to conquer the next challenge.
This slide is simple. It is low, wide, and easily navigated with a partner. The risk is minimal, but requires some amount of confidence to attempt. It is for those learning to take risks, yet needing a low-stress way to do so. Scaffolding continues to play a role in language learning. Peer support, manageable tasks, and low risk are enticing qualities of this next obstacle. Students have built up motivation, received input and feedback, and are now ready to tackle a new challenge. Thanks to the critical period hypothesis, we know that children are more likely to rise to the challenge quickly. Adult learners may require more time in the lazy river, with teachers building up their emotional supports and providing additional explicit input to raise self-efficacy. Children may conquer their fear of this slide more quickly than adults do, due to their natural gravitation toward a cooperative environment, scaffolding one another through the increasingly risky challenges, and cheering each other on through the process, increasing positive emotions and reducing anxiety.
Once our swimmer has achieved this milestone, gaining motivation and self-confidence along the way, they are ready for their next task. A taller slide made for independent navigation, this challenge may cause doubt or anxiety that the swimmer thought was long gone. As learners navigate this arduous and lengthy process of language acquisition, they will have moments of anxiety, even after great accomplishments. However, positive group dynamics will help cheer them on to the next level, helping them to master the next great feat. At the water park, bystanders and lifeguards are nearby to offer assistance and support as needed. In language acquisition, teachers and peers are available and ready to provide the same, encouraging and scaffolding learners as they tackle their challenges. This taller slide represents the large amount of transfer that has been made between languages, the new academic language, and other pieces of the language learning process that allows them to move beyond the simple into the complex. It is higher, requiring more confidence and motivation, longer, requiring more endurance and time to navigate, and encased, requiring the learner to rely on their knowledge and apply it to their new circumstances. The slide is steep and the ride is rewarding, with a thrill that comes from conquering yet another challenge.
This is our most difficult and challenging obstacle, as a single diver with no slide to act as a guide. To dive off the board into the deep waters of bilingualism, presenting oneself as a speaker of dual languages is a rewarding and exhilarating accomplishment in this process.
Even though children are more likely to speak a second language as a native speaker would, adults can attain this same level of fluency with the right amount of motivation, confidence, and hard work. All language learners require the same pattern of input, feedback, and output, with motivation, self-efficacy, and willingness to work being the keys to their success. When learners reach this level of proficiency, they have gained all the necessary tools for mastery of their second language. They have applied the skills acquired through implicit and explicit learning, resulting in the ability to tackle this final task with confidence and competency. Our second language learner is now a bilingual speaker.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical